everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nicole with Made from Scrap, and today I have the walkthrough and the tutorial for my design team project for Country Craft Creations. It's this album right here. It measures 6 3/4 inches wide by 8 inches tall, and the spine measures 1/2 inch wide. Here's the back. I've used MyColors cardstock throughout, some Artisan Kraft cardstock for the construction of the project, and then some 100-pound white cardstock as well for some photo mats. The paper collection that I am using today is the Coco Paradise collection. This is from Photoplay, and I have linked all of the materials down in the description box below so you can get right to the Country Craft Creations website and go order some of these goodies. So I've used the sticker sheet that comes with the collection to stack on each other just to decorate the front cover here. And I've used a black pen around the outer edge just to give a little bit of definition to things. So I thought this was super cute. Let's get started on the walkthrough. So we have a large pocket, a deep pocket here on the inside front cover. We have some of the cut apart that's available, and then of course the leftover MyColors cardstock for photo mats. Here on the right hand side we have 3 signatures on the inside of this album. Here's some of the cut aparts from the collection. I put those in this first signature, and all of the 3 signatures are the same, constructed the same. So you have a short pocket here on this front flap, and then when you open up this flap you have the inside here where you have plenty of space for a couple of photos. And then when you flip the flap over, you have another space here for a photo. Okay. On the right hand side is the base page of the signature, and I have a couple of the cut aparts again here that are just tucked right into another one of the cut aparts that I glued on the bottom and the side. And then the base page, all 3 of them, I've used the envelope punch board in order to notch out this top section here, and they all have a pull-out that is a booklet. So we have again a lot of space for photos. Okay, so that just tucks right in there. Flip that base page over and you have the back side of that, which is a lovely space for more photographs or just to show off the decorative paper. And then on the right hand side is a flap that's attached, and it has a large pocket here so that you can tuck some additional photos in right there. Okay, turn that flap over, and the same thing, you have a nice spot for another photo to tuck right in. I've left this open underneath, and then you have a collection of stickers here. Okay, so then you start the second signature all over again, and you have a couple of cut aparts from the collection. Beautiful. Layered up some stickers here in this short pocket. Open up the page there, and you have this beautiful arrangement, and this is just cut right off of that paper collection. Couple of stickers here on the back side. This is one of the MyColors cardstocks, and then you have another base page with a pull-out booklet. Okay, that tucks in there. Flip it over on the back side of that base page, another spot for a photo, just like that. And then you have another pocket here. Okay. Turn that over. This is the back side of that flap, and then you have your third signature here. So some more of the cut aparts. I've layered up one of the stickers on some MyColors cardstock and fussy cut around that. Here is your flip outs. Turn the page. Isn't this beautiful? You have this third booklet here. Tuck that back in. Turn that page over. You have your third pocket here on the back flap. I cut out a piece of the branding strip so that I would have the name of the collection there. Thought that was cute. And then here, just some triangular pieces cut and I glued only on 2 sides to make another little tuck spot here. Stickers from the collection, and layered up some of the cut apart stickers in MyColors cardstock here on top of this deep pocket on the back cover. We have some more of the cut aparts there. Those just tuck in there. And then we have the stacked pocket here. So that allows for a large photo mat and more of the cut aparts. And that just tucks in right there. And that is the album. So let's get started with the tutorial. First, I'm going to start with the Kraft Artisan cardstock available at Country Craft Creations. I have 2 sheets for my covers, that measures 8 3/4 inches wide by 10 inches tall. I'm going to go ahead and use my 1-inch acrylic spacers, also available at Country Craft Creations. And then I have some thick chipboard here, and the chipboard measures 6 3/4 by 8 inches in height. So I've already put on some score sheets on the back side here and burnish so that I can just easily peel this right off. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is place that right down onto my cardstock. Okay, that's the first one. Wait. Now there's the second one. Trimming. I just started videoing, so of course they're going to get rowdy. Okay, here's the second one. So we have 2 of those. Okay, those are exactly the same. I'm just setting them to the side. Next, I have a piece of Artisan cardstock that measures 4 1/2 inches by 10 inches, and I am still going to use the 1-inch spacer at the top, but I'm going to use my 1 1/2 inch spacer over on the side here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off of these, and then I'm going to put these down. Wow, I just cut my nails and I can't pick anything up apparently. Okay, so now we have those all done. So this is the lay flat method. So what we're going to do is go ahead and fold all of our sides over, burnish really well, and then we're going to go ahead and put this together. I already have a tutorial that talks about the lay flat method, so you can check out the description box below for those instructions, and then you can meet me right back here after I have it put together. Okay, now that I have my covers and spine together like this, I'm going to go ahead and have a piece cover the inside spine. That inside spine piece measures 5 inches wide by 7 7/8 inches in height, and that's going to go right here. So I'm going to go ahead and place glue on my inside spine. Just like that. I'm going to eyeball it in the center, top to bottom, left to right, and go ahead and burnish it down in the center, and then I run my burnishing tool in the groove, just like that, so that the wings start to come up. Then I'll bend these back and go ahead and place my glue on the back side of these, and then I can go ahead and burnish that down. And the reason I do that is so that I have this nice groove already started on my paper. Same thing, bend it back. Now we have our nice clean album, just like that. All right. All right, so now let's place that aside and we're going to start working with our hinge. So our hinge piece measures 4 inches wide by 7 inches tall, and yes, 7 inches. We're making this shorter intentionally. We're going to go ahead and score it 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 3 inches, and 3.5 inches. And that's all with the 4-inch measurement at the top of your scoreboard. After you do that, you want to take off just a little skinny piece off of each long side. Okay, that is going to help you. This is how much we're talking about, just a little smidgen. Okay, that's going to help with our page turning. So we're going to go ahead and bend over both outside edges. Okay, those are going to be our outer flaps, and those are going to be our outer hinges. Next, we're going to fold it inward, just like that. Okay, so after you fold that inward, you're going to see those 2 outside hinges, just like this. Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue those together. So I'm going to place glue on one of the inside of the hinge. Let me just burnish that down. Okay, and the same thing with the other side. I'm going to go ahead and place glue inside of the folded edge. Burnish that down. And by trimming off that little slight edge, that means that the paper will be free on the fold, so you won't have any overlap of that fold. Okay, now you have it look like this. Now what you're going to do is you want to have a mountain in the very middle score line. So what we're going to do is, with these hinges folded back, we're going to go ahead and fold this in half. It really doesn't matter if you end up folding it the other way initially. That's just because you're getting it to move. But then you have this. Okay, next thing we're going to do is fold this up like so. Okay, now you have this. On this other side, we're going to fold this 3rd score line up, just like so. Okay, so now we're going to end up with something like this. Okay, once it's folded, now we're going to place glue along one of the inside edges here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fold that over and burnish that down. Okay, once you've burnished that, you're going to work that hinge back and forth. So you should have that center hinge and each side hinge as well. And when you're done, it should look like a W or an E or an M, but that's the shape that it should take. Now, in our album, before we go putting our hinge down, if you want to put some decorative paper, you need to do that now, because we're going to be gluing our hinge down centered from left to right, but definitely towards the bottom, about maybe a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Okay, we're leaving space at the top intentionally because these are going to be pocket pages and we want to have room to pull the top of the page out. Okay, So let's set this aside and let's get busy on the other pages. Put this away. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and create the page base. So for this, you need to cut 3 pieces that measure 12 inches long. Move this out of the way. 12 inches wide by 7 1/4 inches tall. Okay, and then on the 12-inch side, we're going to go ahead and score it at 6 inches. And you're going to do that 3 times. And we're going to fold this in half. Okay, and set that aside. So there's one. Here's the second one. I already scored these. And then here is the third one. These are going to be our pocket pages. So we've set those aside. Okay, let's set those aside and we're going to start stacking stuff on top of it. Next, we're going to have the cover pockets. So these measure 7 1/2 inches wide by 4 1/2 inches tall. And on the 7 1/2 inch side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 7 inches. And then you're going to rotate it to the 4 1/2 inch side at the top, and you're going to score that at 1/2 inch. And you're going to do that twice, okay? 7 inches, rotate it, score it at 1/2 inch. Those are going to be your inside cover pockets, okay? I have 2 of those. You have the score lines down here where it makes the X, okay? I like to trim out that bottom box because this is going to become your pockets. So I trim that out, and then the sides get folded back, those 1/2 inch tabs, and then the bottom gets folded under, and that is what makes your pocket, okay? So those are going to be your cover pockets. So let's do this a second time. Okay, so let's set that on our stack. Moving on, we're going to have the stacked back pocket. So you need one piece that measures 7 1/2 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And on the 7 1/2 inch side, you're going to go ahead and score it 1/2 inch, 7 inches, rotate it to the 3 1/4 inch side, and then you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. And then you're also going to cut out the corner pieces of that score mark. So you cut that out. Okay. And on this one, all you're going to do is fold over the 2 side pieces. Do not fold the bottom. That is just a guide score mark. So we're going to set that on top. Okay. Moving on, we're going to create our, what are we calling this? Our pocket page inserts. So we need 3 pieces that measure 10 inches wide by 7 1/4 inches in height. Put that in your scoreboard with the 10 inches at the top and go ahead and score it at 5 inches. And you're going to do that 3 times. Okay, let's set that on my stack. Here's my second one. And here's my third one. These are going to be the pocket page inserts. Okay, your flap. This is going to be your front flap. You need 3 pieces that measure 12 inches wide by 7 1/2 inches tall. And with the 12 inches at the top, you're going to go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch, 6 1/2 inches. And that's it. And we're going to go ahead and burnish these score marks. Okay. And we want this to be a Z fold. So your small 1/2 inch flap is going to be tucked back away from you and on your left hand side, and then the top flap is going to fold back towards the left, right on top, just like that. Okay, let's set that aside, and we're going to do that 2 more times. So a 12-inch piece by 5.5 inches, score it at 1/2 inch and 6.5 inches. Okay, and one more time. All right, next we're going to move on to the back page flap. And the back page flap measures 6.5 inches by width by 7 1/8 inch tall. Okay, and with the 6.5 inches at the top, you're going to go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch. Go ahead and do that 3 times. 1/2 inch. 6.5 inches at the top, score it at 1/2 inch. That's 3 times. And then you're going to go ahead and burnish that score line. Place it on top of your stack. Okay, and then lastly, you're going to have your back flap pocket. So for this, you need 3 pieces that measure 8 1/8. So it's the first little tick mark after your 8-inch mark. That's 8 1/8 inches wide by 4.5 inches tall. And with the 8 1/8 inch at the top, you're going to go ahead and score it at 1/2 inch and 7 5/8 inches. Okay, or you can score it at 1/2 inch, turn it all the way around, and score it at 1/2 inch again. And then lastly, go ahead and rotate it 1 more time so that you can score it at 1/2 inch a 3rd time. Okay, and that creates your pocket. And we need 3 of those, so go ahead and do that again. 1/2 inch, 7 5/8, rotate it, score it at 1/2 inch. Second one. I have my 3rd one here, and score it at 1/2 inch. Okay, so these are our back flap pocket. I've stacked them all 3 on top of each other. I have my handy dandy scissors here, my Tim Holtz scissors, and you see the X that is formed by the score marks there. I'm going to go ahead and cut those out, just like that. I'm holding them all together, and I'm just cutting out those squares. Okay, so that's fast. And then these are going to have each one of them the side flaps folded back, and then the bottom flap folded under, and give it a burnish. So that's 1, put it on top of my stack. Okay, all right. Then we have our front flap pocket. We need 3 pieces that measure 6.5 inches by 2.5 inches tall, and we're going to, with the 6.5 inches at the top, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch, 6 inches, rotate it, and then score it at 1/2 inch. And you're going to do that 2 more times. So again, the 6.5 inches at the top, you're going to measure it. You know what, we're going to check that measurement because I think you need it. That's your short front page flap, and it's going to go onto there. Let me just do this. Yep, that one. just cut my paper a little long, so. Okay, anyway, 6.5 inches at the top, score it at 6 inches, a 1/2 inch, rotate it one time with the 2.5 inches at the top, score it at 1/2 inch. And then one more time, 1/2 inch, 6 inches, rotate it 1/2 inch. Okay, stack all 3 of those together, and again I am going to go ahead and cut out my corners. Okay, place the scoreboard to the side. We're all done with that. Just going to go ahead and again fold in my sides, fold up my bottom of my pocket, and burnish that down. Okay, the next step that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select our decorative paper for behind the hinge, and also select your paper for your front cover so that you can make sure to set that aside. I'm going to be right back. Okay, now I have my inside covered, and now I'm going to go ahead and pull out my hinge piece that I had set aside, and we're going to go ahead and glue this center left to right. I'm going to place glue on the back side of those 2 1/2 inch channels, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and place this down so that it's about I don't know how far, 1/8 inch from the bottom, and just centered left to right. Go ahead and make sure you burnish that down really well. Okay. And your hinges can move freely back and forth. Okay. All right. So once we have that, I want you to go ahead and flip your stack of paper over like this so we get to the sheets that are at the bottom, because the bottom sheets are actually your pocket pages, and we're going to go ahead and open them up like this, line them up like so, make sure the bottom is straight, and then we're going to go ahead and pull it off of the hinge just a little bit so that you're not overlapping or right up against the score line of that hinge. But before you place this down, this is an option if you want to have your pocket page solid like this, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my envelope punch board, and I'm going to go ahead and open up my page like so, and with a cut edge I'm going to line it up at 1 inch. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and punch. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it over like this, and then where the score line is, I'm going to line up the score line at my 1 inch mark, and I'm going to go ahead and punch. Okay, and let's go ahead and do that to all 3 pages. So line up the cut edge at 1 inch, turn it over, line up the score line at 1 inch, and then do it a 3rd time. Open this up, cut edge at 1 inch, turn it over, score line at 1 inch. Okay, I'm going to put my envelope punch board to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and get my cutter out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this in my cutter so that the groove, the cutting groove, is lined up to the very bottom of that notch. So you can just see the groove right at the bottom of the notch. And then I'm going to place my blade down so that it's right in that first notch. And then I'm just going to cut up towards the second notch. And that way you cut away that little piece right there. Okay. And if you didn't get all the way down, you can always get in with your scissors. You can get in with a straight edge. You can do it that way as well. Okay, so let's do that another 2 times. All 3. Place that aside. Okay, so what we're going to do is I always like to start with the last page first. So I'm going to open this up. Again, I'm going to just do a dry fit, make sure that I'm all the way on the hinge at the bottom so that every bit of my page is going to be the hinge inside of my page. And then once I have it straight, I'm going to hold the page down, fold back my hinge, and then I'm going to go ahead and open up my glue and place glue on the back side of my hinge. I'm going to go ahead and place it on the bottom of my page, only up to the score line. And then I can push my hinge down, burnish that, place glue on top of the hinge again, and go ahead and fold this closed and burnish. Now you have your pocket page. Okay. Just make sure that you don't put too much glue so that you don't get it smushing out. So what you should have is this little relief at the top. Okay. Let's go ahead and put our other 2 pages on. Open it up. Place it here. Do a dry fit. Align the bottom of the page. Make sure that you're not all the way up against the fold of this. Okay, a little dry fit there. Again, hold it down. Place glue on the edge of your page, down at the bottom. Fold over your hinge. Place glue on that hinge, and then go ahead and close your page and burnish. Nice pocket page, easy to put on. One more time. Hold that open. Okay, you have all 3, just like that. Okay, the next thing you're going to have are your pockets that go on the covers on your stack. So let's go ahead and place glue on those 1/2-inch hinges, or 1/2-inch flaps, I guess it is. And then I'm going to show just a little bit of that decorative paper all the way around. It's a nice wide pocket. Okay, the next one is going to be for the back. thing. Place this down, just a little bit of that decorative paper showing all the way around. That's just my preference. Okay, the next one you're going to have is this stacked pocket. So we only burnish the two sides, and then you have the score line at the bottom. That's what's going to tuck into the pocket below. So we're only going to place glue on those two flaps, the back side of those two flaps. Okay, and then you should be able to stick that right into the pocket, just like that. And that 1/2 inch score line is going to give you some guide. It's going to work like a guide so that you don't tuck it down too far. Okay, so now you have your pocket just like so. All right, the next thing you have are your 3 insert pieces in your stack, and those are going to go in here like this. Like this. Okay, and that's why we placed our hinges down lower, so that these pages, these inserts, would have room to stick out the top and make it easy for us to grab. Okay, now the next thing on your stack is going to be your front flap. So we are going to go ahead and place glue on the 1/2 inch flap, and then that, with the folded edge of that flap folded under, we're going to place that on the front of each one of our pages, align it at the bottom of the page and at the left hand side of that pocket. Don't align it with the hinge, align it with the pocket page, the base page, okay? And then you can burnish that down, just like so. Flip over to the second one, and we have 2 more to do. And our page should nicely fit right on top of that base page, so that it aligns on the right hand side as well. Okay, and then we have the third one. Next, you're going to have the back flap. So we're going to go ahead and turn our pages over to the back, and we're going to glue the back flap. So place glue on that 1/2 inch, and then the folded edge of that 1/2 inch is going to go on the right hand side of your pocket page. And you want your left hand side to align. And then burnish that down. Just like so. Okay, we're going to work our way backwards and do it another 2 times. Open it up, make sure it's burnished down. Okay, last one. All right. Okay. Next you have your back flap pockets. We're going to place glue on those 1/2 inch flaps. All 3 of them. Okay. And then this pocket is going to go vertically on the flap that you just glued down, on the inside of the flap, that is. So the pocket is going to be to your right. And you want to make sure the bottom of the pocket is just offset a hair off of that score line. You do not want it to overlap. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We have 2 more to do of this. There you go, burnish that down. Okay, last one. Alright, lastly we have 3 small pockets. The front flap pockets, those are going to go right here on each one of these front flaps. Place glue on the 1/2 inch folds and go ahead and burnish that down. Okay. Next, nearly done. How are you doing on time? Should be pretty good. Okay, last one. And that is it. If you want to do your corners a different way, all of your embellishments that need to be placed onto your album, super fun. I forgot to show you one other thing. For the decorative paper that you're going to be placing on the front of your base page, if you did the notch for the top of your pocket using your envelope punch board, and you had punched this at 1 inch, you want to lay your decorative paper in your punch board, and here's the 1 inch measurement. It's a little closer so you can see the 1 inch measurement. I'm going to move my decorative paper over about 1/8 of an inch, okay? And make sure that you are holding it steady and straight along the edge. Go ahead and punch it, flip it over, and then do the same thing, about 1/8 of an inch short, and punch. And that way, when you put this in your cutter, again, same thing, put it in so that your blade will be right at the bottom of those notches, and then go ahead and cut in between. Okay. Let me take that off. And then this is ready to lay right down on your page, just like so, and it's layered. Okay. Go ahead and glue this down. pretty paper. And just like that, we have our layered piece on. Okay, isn't that pretty? Now what I did with these is I used my punch, my edge punch, and I went ahead and notched all of my corners. This is optional. Just to give it a little bit more decoration. Okay. You can really have a different look to this album just by using different paper collection. Let me go ahead and show you. Here is another version. This is using the Sunshine on My Mind collection by Graphic 45 that's available at Country Craft Creations, and some flowers from my stash. This is the chipboard sticker. I just backed it on some of the paper collection and roughed up the edges. I also used some of the glitter Glamour cardstock available at Country Craft Creations. Here's the side. I'll show you the inside. So you can see I used some of the stickers throughout. This was my prototype, so I did do the flap here. Nice big space for some photos there. And then here is the pullout. I used a decorative edge punch here. This is the pullout booklet. So that slides right in there. I did not do this flap here that I did on this paper collection, only because I only have so many sheets of the collection to do this. But if you have two sets of this paper collection, you can also do this flap. This additional flap would go on before the front flap, and it also measures 12 inches long, and it measures 6.5 inches in height. So essentially these two flaps can be cut from a 12 by 12 paper and then added on. But like I said, on the Coco Paradise, I only did the smaller flap, okay, and I did less pockets. So anyway, I think this is a cute one. Very, very cute paper. Look at this little watermelon paper. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Check out Country Craft Creations for more fun free videos for you and all of the crafty goodies that you can pick up through the store. I look forward to having you back here for another fun tutorial soon. Until next time, everyone, happy crafting, you all. Bye.